that on recording. Yeah, what I thought I'd do before we actually got to catch up later in the week was just get some slides together and go through them just so you got a bit of a heads up as to what we've been waffling on about. So let me just get this, let me just share screen, so bear with us. Here we go, sharing screen. Just going to put it on slide from beginning. There we go. Yeah, what I've done, and I think I've chatted to you, Jill, so you know all about what I've done with Ian Orton. Um, this thing all stemmed from just being nosy and jumping on Emma McLaren's training about getting VIP customers, and on there we got into through a bit of chatting and digging around and asking questions. We got into a few ratios as to how many VIPs, how many order, that sort of thing. And Ian Orton jumped on in Gavin's group. Ian Orton jumped on and was open about what his ratios were. So anyway, cut a long story short, I managed to pin him down to have a good old chat over the phone about it all. So his ratios were really interesting because they were based on, as I can see, and I believe, facts as opposed to in his words, all piss and wind. It was based on facts as to what he's done, and if you can do something and show other people how to do it, if it's duplicatable, then you've got something serious to move on. So I've titled this little thing called "It's All About Ratios." The first thing is obviously the importance of catalog ratios. I think people who've got a catalog customer base, probably this is bang on for most people. If you've got a customer base of 50 people, if 1 in 3 order each campaign, it's 33% of that, you'll get on average 17 orders, 1 in 3. It will give you on average about £250. So those 17 people becomes £250 in orders. That's £15 per order, and the average per drops, in other words, 50 catalogues out, will give you an average of £5 per catalogue dropped. Now, that's always been, even in the old business, that's always been my mainstay. Quite often it goes £6 or £7 per catalogue drop, but if it doesn't go below £5, I'm happy with that. As soon as it goes below £5 for a couple of campaigns, then I think, oh, I've got to do something about this because it could be somebody of, a good customers left or whatever. So you've got to maintain that average. So that average is predictable, it's bang on every single campaign, and it's all about how many customers you got to increase, the 250. So that's a catalog customer base. In terms of just go back a second. That's the catalog customer base. Yeah, next slide. In terms of the VIP ratio, this is where Ian's. It was interesting chatting to Ian. Now, Ian, he's been in the industry for many, many years. He apparently, so he tells me, was massive in Larome, Chris's old company back in the day. He had a huge business back in then, so I believe. So I think he knows what he's talking about. And what he's got is a customer base currently of around 250. Now, he tells me he gets roughly 20% order every campaign. That's 1 in 50, so that's 50 orders, which is around about £1,000 a campaign. Now, I jumped on to the website to look at Recognition and found the personal sales, and he was there bang on over 1,000 points. So kind of ties in with what he's telling me. So I've got no reason to disbelieve it, just got every reason to believe it. But that's an average order per 250. That's an average order of £20, or average order of the 50 people ordering is £20 per order. Now, it just doesn't happen just like that at the drop of a hat. So, but it's a ratio, and if you can show people a ratio, then whether it's a customer base of 100 or 1,000, the ratio should still be the same. So you can actually plot and plan to grow an income with a little bit of knowledge that it's going to happen. So that's the important thing of ratios. Now, the VIP thing, we all know, is massive potential, all probably being underplayed and underperforming. So it's trying to find ways of getting people into really cranking this up so it's actually working and actually putting money in people's pockets. Because the way I see the sales at the moment and what people are earning or not earning, I'd be a little bit concerned if I was corporate. So the opportunities there, the backup systems there. We just got to try and capitalize on what we got our hands on. So the how-to. Catalog customer base is all about, in my opinion, presenting and targeting. So giving it to people in a targeted way, in lots of different ways. And maybe 30 catalogs per week, going out to build up to 100, up to 50 plus catalog customer base, 50 plus people in a customer base using catalogs will give you a predictable amount every campaign. Obviously, there's variance on that. Some people do loads more, some people do a little bit less, but it's a good target that people can work towards. With the VIP, with a target of 250. Now, chatting to Emma's got a similar, Emma McLaren, she's got a similar customer base currently that's producing her. It's not dissimilar figures to Ian. So she's getting slightly, I think it was about 1 in 8 who are actually ordering from her 250. But again, it's a ratio. Now, how to get to that 250? Ian was quite open and honest to me that one of the things that he's doing, which I don't think is duplicatable, and he says it wasn't duplicatable, was spending a lot of money on advertising for VIPs. He's got a target of getting I think he said it was 4,000 VIPs, and he's pouring money into it through pay-per-click, through Google, Facebook, all sorts of other ways of doing it, chucking in £300-400 a month to do this. He's happy to do it, but that's not duplicatable. So they're working on other things that people can do that will help. And one of them is a competition, or not a competition, it's a draw of £500, a product draw of £500 if people become a VIP customer. Now their draw, I think they're going to base it on actually a VIP customer joining and placing an order. I'm not sure whether that's the way to do it or whether it's just to get people to register so you can then work on them. But that's the hook, is the product draw. And they're designing flyers to go out the normal way, door to door, etc. Letterbox, you can use it in lots of different ways. And I guess you can even knock on the door and do a presentation if you've got it all set up properly. So there's loads of different ways. So the name of the game is collecting VIPs. So people have a real reason to actually join for free, obviously, is to go in the hat for this £500 product draw. They're going to draw theirs 6 monthly. But there's lots of different ways we can maybe chat about how to do that. The key is actually having a system of emails that go out to the VIPs that he's working on, and this is the basis. This is the bit that's actually getting the orders for him. So he has a welcome email that goes out that explains, how to get set up, how to, a very simple email to the VIP to welcome them and to help them get going. And then he sends out on a weekly basis, plus others for specials. So if there's a half price sales suddenly appear, you can wing out an email. He's actually using an autoresponder because he's using big numbers. I don't think you have to, but if you can, most autoresponders, I think you can do around about 500 free emails a month. So that's something maybe worth exploring properly. But the whole crux of this is down to emailing those people and following up and just really working with those VIPs. And over time, just like, putting out 7 catalogs or whatever to blanketing, eventually somebody orders. So it's the same sort of principle. Enough emails go out, somebody orders, and this is on top of the emails that the company send out to those VIPs. So it's all about working a lot harder on your VIPs to make them actually get to order. So the flyer ad, simple flyer. This is the hard bit, to produce something that looks good enough to attract people to join, maybe using a QR code with people's individual VIP link, etc., etc. That's to be worked on. My thoughts, chatting to Jill in the week, the thoughts was maybe what if the company could stump up something much bigger to make it an even bigger tempting offer, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500, 2,000. I think that's some mileage in that, but I think on reflection, I don't think they're going to go for that unless we can prove we've started to do it and actually get some traction. So maybe if we do it as sales to start with, they might want to jump in if they suddenly see a load of VIPs coming on board. So interesting. Ian's already been chatting to Helen about what he's doing. So she's aware of, I think, some of the stuff that he's doing. So it's interesting stuff. So a flyer that you can just put through letterboxes, you can hand out, you can maybe copy it so it goes out online. You can use it in different ways. Is worth obviously trying to put together in a professional way. Your income from all of this, I thought it would be interesting to just do a bit of a have a go at setting up an income. If you've got a customer base of 250 VIPs and 50 catalog customers, on average, your order, and this is the ridiculous thing, on average, the order is 1,250 based on those averages, 24% on your VIPs, 30% on your catalog customer base. That would give you £315 or £420 a month. That's 5k a year. Now, here's the thing: I don't think anybody's getting anywhere near any of that, which is why I don't think this thing's moving really forward in any way because people aren't making any money. The influencers are buying loads of products so they can demonstrate, so they're losing money, not making money necessarily. And the amount of sales that people are doing, 100 to £300 a campaign, it's just about covering costs. So people aren't making any money. Doing it this way and building it this way, obviously VIPs, the cost of developing VIPs is not a lot, maybe flyers. Catalogs is not a lot. I tend to think 30% on as income from catalogs. Your 10% is actually paying for the catalogs and all the other running charges. So you're actually earning about 20%, keeping it real simple. I think that's a good mindset. But here, if you get into it and help people and show people how to do it, we can start moving things forward. Fingers crossed. So, sponsoring. Well, if you've got 300 customers, 250 plus 50, and you convert to brand partners, there's a huge pool of people across a team. And I don't know what ratio you're going to get out of that because we haven't done it yet. So I think that's to be continued. But the exciting thing is if you can develop this, you have a pool of people who are involved in Oriflame, either as VIPs or brand partners, hell of a lot easier to work with to get them moving forward as brand partners and get bigger discounts and so on and so forth. So that's a big number to work with. So there could be some serious mileage from the sponsoring perspective as well. So there you go. There's my thoughts. So maybe we can chat around that or add to it or whatever. So it's just some thoughts knocked out on the back of the chat with Ian. Ian, by the way, is he has promised to send me some emails and a few other bits and pieces so I can have a look at. He did ask me not to share any of the content that he's got with anybody. Bit secret squirrel stuff, but but he was kind enough to share what he was doing. And I thought it was really interesting and had some legs to it, based on ratios and also based on what Emma was chatting about in a video training on the Ignition Group about getting VIP customers. So there you go. Let's catch up end of the week and then go from there. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm now going to end it. Here we go.